name's Clayton Haigh. I'm currently an artist in residence at the Harbourfront Centre's glass studio. And before I start, there's something you should all know about me. I sweat. I don't know how to.
Right hand corner.
Let's just do it like this. So I sweat. And everyone sweats if they go to the gym or have to give a speech in front of a huge crowd of people. But not everyone sweats when they tie their shoelaces. So the trick is to place myself in situations where this kind of perspiration actually makes sense. Like a glass studio, for instance. But when people ask how or why I got started in glass, this isn't the answer I give. So it can't be a coincidence that before I was sweating my way through 3 years at Sheridan College, I was at Sir Sanford Fleming College up north in Halliburton in the artist blacksmith program. I was learning how to forge steel over an animal with a hammer. So it's just about finding the right context for this particular trait of mine. It was pretty obvious from a young age that my interests in art and design and construction were going to lead me in some sort of a creative pursuit. The question was always just what field I was working. That question got answered pretty quickly in my first semester at Sheridan. It's almost a cliche at this point, but glass is like a really addictive material to work with, so I think anyone who works with it has a really vivid memory of the first time they saw somebody take it out of the furnace and manipulate it and form it into something, bend it to their will. So it certainly stuck with me. I should tell you that these slides that I'm showing so far are from my time at Sheridan. So, like most student work, it's kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of different techniques and themes and projects and sort of half-formed ideas. So they're kind of seeds that may or may not have turned into something a little more polished down the road. My glass education was kind of unique in that during the school year, I would be learning a lot of theory and history and some technique, but I was also lucky enough at the same time to be working during the summer months for a Venetian glassblower. Well, I don't know if lucky is the right word to use, but it's the one that I'm going to use. So yeah, the summer months were almost the exact opposite of the school year because working with this guy, I was learning a ton of technique and almost no theory and almost no history at all. So it was an interesting juxtaposition, kind of a cool way to learn the material. I remember being really excited when I found out after first year that I got the job with him as an assistant. Not only was he Italian, which is kind of a big deal for most glassblowers, I guess, he was Venetian, and not only Venetian, but he was from Murano. And so, if you don't know, Murano is an island off the coast of Venice, and it's arguably like where glassblowing was invented. So a lot of the tools and techniques and just everything we do either started there or was invented there. So I was expecting a lot. I haven't met him. I had this image built up in my mind of what he might be like. I was picturing Yoda or the Dalai Lama or an Italian Mr. Miyagi. But what I got was Angelo, which is different than that. Angelo and I worked together at a place in Niagara Falls. It was pretty much the tourist trap to end all tourist trap. And for the sake of the story, I'll call it Souvenir Township. Basically what would happen is it would be on a bus tour, so busloads of people would get dropped off there, and it was like not within walking distance of any other attractions in Niagara Falls, so there's nothing else to do there really except for throw away a lot of money. They had a chocolate factory and a restaurant sort of, and just a massive souvenir section and a glass studio, which is where Angelo and I work. I have a story that kind of illustrates what it was like to work with Angelo day to day. This was in my first year of working there, maybe even like within the first couple of weeks of meeting him. He was making these really large vessels at the time, and they had this Chinese imagery on the outside as decoration. And the way he would get this on the outside of the piece was that he would put stringers up for himself. And what stringers are is like little glass twigs, like almost like little glass toothpicks. And so he would write out the symbols on the table and then roll his piece across them, and they would get picked up and stick to his piece, and then eventually blend in with it, and you would see them in the final form. So my job on this day was to place the stringers out for him while he started the piece. So that's what I did. And so Angelo has already started at this point, and he's off working in a different part of the shop, and not really paying attention to what I'm doing. He's working on a really large piece, so it's demanding a lot of attention. But when he finally does look over at my work, he takes a look and he says, "No, make it more Chinese." So you might be surprised to find out that I don't speak Chinese. And in fact, Angelo didn't speak Chinese either. So that's kind of the way things went between us from there. Basically between September and May, I spent my time at school sort of having my ego massaged and working in an encouraging environment and basically building up all kinds of confidence. And then June would come around,